Today's AskReddit post. What did your crush do that absolutely killed your interest? Oh boy, this is gonna be a good one. Let's get started. Turned out to be the person eating everyone else's food from the break room fridge. That poop's punishable by death. Kept arranging times to talk and whatnot. Then always forgot or was not available. I've had the same thing happen to me. She would always text me and ask if I could chat at a certain time. Of course I would agree. Then when I called she would have her phone off or only answer 5% of the time. I really liked her too. So I was just like WTF. If you say you want to talk at so and so time, you know, answering the phone might help. I had this girl text me, not me text her, 5 days in a row asking to hang out and stuff. I would say yes, then ask what she wanted to do. I would never get a response. I don't understand how you can ask somebody to hang out and then just ghost them. And I only kept getting my hopes up because she had some BS excuse to go with it. She slept with my dad. I would say methodica, but the term doesn't work here. Methodica. His sister actually approached me and let me know that he was once arrested for locking their other pregnant sister in their basement. Went on a coke binge while she desperately tried to get out. And went outside to beat their unsuspecting neighbor's van with a golf club. That was a big ol' nope. Sister's a legend BTW. It was really cool of her to tell me about all of that. And she actually continued to warn women about him even if some of the girls wouldn't listen and had to experience firsthand. She's really out here for her fellow females. Huge crush on a fellow uni student. I was invited over for what I expected to be a platonic study date, but hey, any time spent is better than just being alone. Or so I thought. Got there and found another student from class also. Okay, study group? Turns out her mom and her set us up for a full press MLM pitch. Video, literature, the works. I stayed a bit not to be rude, excused myself shortly, and only talked to her in class just in passing from then on. Huge letdown. Edit. MLM means multi-level marketing, aka a pyramid scheme. Signing up to both buy and sell something, while recruiting others to sell also. You get a percent of all of your recruits' sales also. All the percentages basically flow upward. So the only way to make any significant money is to be high in the tree towards the top of the pyramid. It's all bull poop. Basically, that is probably the most insane thing I could imagine. You know damn well she's not keeping friends after that. Told me that she didn't like me back anymore, but maybe if I waited long enough she would like me like that again. Ugh, I hate this. You're not an airport. You don't get to put people in holding patterns. As someone who's been put in a holding pattern has stupidly waited it out. This is a perfect analogy. Bullied the quiet kid in our class. What a jerk. And it's such shame that she stooped to those levels cause she seemed like a sweet girl. The moment I saw her do that I lost it with her cause the quiet is genuinely a nice guy, still friends to this day due to our mutual love of anime and gaming. Talked non-stop about himself and his accomplishments and never asked me one question about myself. Experienced this. But he would ask me questions about myself and after one line from me, would take over the conversation and somehow direct the spotlight from my answer back onto himself. Almost competitively. Went on a date with a guy similar to this LOL. He loved himself and whenever he asked me a question he would take my reply and tell me why I was wrong for thinking it. And then tell me his right version. This was years ago. On a first date. Tried to convince me to quit my job and put all my savings into gold bars. Then demanded I let him read my tarot cards to see if we'd be a good fit. Nope. Another controlling type. It was such a bizarre combo of alt-right talking points and then a ton of woo. You usually don't find both kinds of ridiculous in the same person in the same hour. Ha. I'll kiss you but I'd never date you. FKU. I had a girl who wanted to move in with me and start a physical relationship. I might have been interested if she weren't moving so fast and if she hadn't already had a boyfriend at the time. The final nail in that already well fastened coffin was when she said the intercourse would only be physical and that she wasn't looking for an emotional connection at all. I had been secretly in love with her for 5 years and that completely destroyed me. I'd say you dodged a bullet ducking cannonball. Told me he was only being nice to me because he was interested in a friend of mine. I see his Facebook posts now. He is dumber than a box of rocks on a treadmill. I'm not sure why the box of rocks on the treadmill is dumber than the box of rocks not on a treadmill, but I accept the metaphor. I was just thinking to myself, poop. I'm not dumb for not understanding this metaphor, am I? Ignored me when somebody new and shiny came along. It's better than keeping you as a doormat, mate. Good phrasing. He picked me up for our first date and his car was disgusting. Not talking a few trash items. The entire backseat and floorboard was completely covered in piled up trash. Even up front, I had to step on empty McDonald's bags, old soda bottles, wrappers to even get in. And all he said was, just move it around with your feet. No sorry or anything. Made me feel like trash too. Like dang. Couldn't even clean up a little? But you're the goblin queen? Goblins are stinky, not trashy. Light the back fence of the school on fire to impress a mate. Arson does tend to be a deal breaker. Not for me. I get heart eyes just thinking about it. Told me he liked dating broken girls so he could fix them. See you later. Boner. I had an ex tell me that. She said that she liked dating guys with issues to try and fix them. Meanwhile she had a ton of issues. We worked together and as I got to know him more I learned he talked badly about everyone. Nurses that are amazing he'd belittle. Talk about how certain people don't know what they're doing because they asked for an ultrasound IV as they were struggling getting a vein on a heroin addict. The paramedics were worthless. Doctors don't know what they're doing. Who he thought was hooking up and it completely turned me off. He's in his early 40s and into gossip more than my teenage daughter. Ah yes. The know-it-all tech who finished half of medic school. I laughed way more than I should have because this specific person is a nurse tech. Talked poop about every woman in his life. Should have seen the red flags earlier. Didn't realize until later that he probably did the same to me. Apparently having an opinion about anything and speaking for yourself isn't a very ladylike thing to do. He sounds totally not insecure. His masculinity is so strong. Totally not weak. Well, it turns out he wasn't interested in girls, so I knew I had to kill my feelings or feel stupid for keeping them. At least you got to know about it. It's way better than being in the dark. Like in the closet. Litted. That's so trashy. What a garbage person. Too critical about every word I uttered under the name of sarcasm. Oh yeah, the classic it's a joke so you can't get mad type or line. I went out with a woman who would say really mean poop and then say guys can't take her humor, her sarcasm, how real she was. Example, I caught my finger in a pair of vice grips and got a nasty blood blister. Her reply, wow, you're really handy. Not. We were going on a date and when we were just next to the cinema she found her friend and she went with her instead. She probably told her friend to come to have an excuse to leave your date mate : For everyone replying to this, he's an 8th grader. Not saying it doesn't suck. But 8th grade girls and boys are typically the smartest or most subtle. She probably lost interest, or didn't really think it was a date in the first place, and handled it like a child because she's, well, a child. Kicked a dog. Ugh. I also don't like this person. On your behalf. Also on my behalf. Thank you. Told me I wasn't attractive and that she could never possibly like me. Game over. Still better than keeping you around though. Dude was the perfect epitome of the term douchebag. He used to be nice to people only to gain their trust and then betray them. He was attractive though and a smooth talker as well. We started talking, became friends and I developed a crush on him. Unfortunately, I never knew then. what type of double-headed snake he was. Then on one day I witnessed him throwing his best friend under the bus just to save his reputation. Completely lost interest. Cut ties with him and he gave no poop about it. Only then did I realize how toxic people can be sometimes. Edit. Grammar. English isn't my first language. So when I read one day I witnessed him throwing his best friend under a bus, my brain didn't immediately register that it was a saying. I thought he actually murdered his friend. Said she was staring up a group for LGBT youth. I asked her why, and then realized I had been barking up the wrong tree. I'm dumb. She's a lesbian. I thought I had found the one. She invited me over to her place, not as a date thing, but just to hang out as friends. Her house was absolutely filthy and the glass of Coke she gave me had a hair in it. She was really cute, had a great personality, and was a genuinely nice person. But as soon as I saw cat poop on the floor near the front door and just dirty everything, my crush disappeared and I left in a hurry. Threw my $2,000 laptop through my new big screen TV. What happened after that? It broke. She asked me if I was good with kids because she was pregnant with her ex and that she's not good with kids. It was the first date. No way, dude. What was your response? I told her that I'm not comfortable raising a child that isn't mine and that it's not gonna work out. After my response she lost her poop screaming that I was a heartless piece of poop and that all men are the same. She detested cats and insisted that I give up my furry buddy before she'd move in with me. It wasn't that she was allergic to cats. She issued the ultimatum because, according to her, my cat received too much of my time and affection, and she wasn't going to compete. Mayo, imagine laying awake at night knowing you lost to a cat. Is there anyone ever that won against an already existing pet? Being rude to the waiter and complain that food is taking too long during dinner rush hour. I work in the industry for a year. It's not easy when being slammed during rush. I will keep my mouth shut then. By that I mean even complaining to you, not the waiter. If you have a legitimate complaint, make it. Like if you ordered your steak rare and it comes medium, send it back. That is not what they are saying. However, if when sending that steak back you call the waiter or cook or restaurant an idiot, you are an asshole. Making up a complaint to try to get free poop is also a dick move. Also, on a first date, you should be talking and not notice that your food is taking long. Plus you chose to go out during dinner rush. Of course things take longer. You should expect that. If you don't, you obviously can't think beyond yourself. We played Monopoly. That game brings out the absolute worst in people. Once while playing Monopoly, we had lost some of the pieces so we had to use Cluedo pieces instead. Long story short, I won and my opponent got angry and stabbed me in the hand with a tiny dagger. That took a sharp turn. Dumped me after 9 months because she wasn't ready for a serious relationship. Got into a relationship the next day and was married within 5 months. Not ready for a serious relationship is just the roundabout way of saying sorry. I'm not interested in you anymore. You're too good for me is another one. We were teenagers. He lived in a different province, and we used to chat on Skype. He wanted me to think he was a badass or something and would always talk about his drug use. He ended up faking a heroin overdose when we were on chat together. I was hysterically crying and freaking out thinking I was watching someone dying and was trying to figure out how to call 911 in another province when he snapped out of it and told me he was actually okay. I didn't talk to him much after that. Goddamn. What a loser. Placed the tip on the table before we'd received service, before using it as a threat. Real ugly. Like this $20 tip stays here if you keep my water refilled. Holocaust denial. Started gaming with him and learned that he threw tantrums worthy of a toddler when losing matches. Well, you try play Halo 3 with shotguns. Not necessarily Halo, but shotgun blasts to the chest should be a one-shot kill like it is on every game. But no, you gotta land a headshot from 10 feet away. It's bull poop. Girl in car behind him honked when the light turned green. He got out of the car and began screaming and banging on her windshield. That's when I knew he was a psycho and I needed to get out of that relationship. Took me a destroyed home and 2 restraining orders later, but we've been broken up for 3 years now. Edited for ARP's privacy. Gosh, sorry to hear that, but glad that you've seen the issue and got out of it. Basically shut me down and made it clear to me that I was being the typical nice guy cliche. This is back when I was about 20. After a couple of days of sulking, I started examining my behavior and realized she was absolutely right. Glad it happened. My ideas of how a relationship should work were entirely twisted at the time. I got my poop together shortly after, addressed my stupid and entitled behavior, worked on myself, mentally and physically, and eventually met an amazing woman who is now my wife. Scary to look back and think how close I got to becoming one of those incel neckbud types. Treated me like poop for being the only female in our paintball team. He said that women belong to kitchen, not battlefield. Edit. I never, though the worst memory of my life will bring me the most karma out of everything I've ever posted. Thanks. I kinda hope he has read it and find it now. Edit 2. Guys, I made a mistake. He didn't say battlefield. We are Polish. He said something that cannot be translated perfectly, so I just captured the idea. The word battlefield is mine. I didn't know how to call it in English. Now I know it's a field. Sorry. Battlefield LOL. There was a girl in college who was super hot until I saw her share a lollipop with her dog. Not like let him have the last lick or two. No. She'd hold it for a while, then hold it out to let the dog lick it for a bit, then put it back in her mouth. Fucking gross. Yeah, that would definitely kill a crush. I was 21 and in college. He was a classmate of mine. He seemed so charming and was easy on the eyes. One day I overheard him talking to his friends about how he doesn't date engineer women because math is for men. Edit. Some people are missing the point here. It's not that he said he wouldn't want to date an engineer that bothered me. It's that he said that women aren't meant for math. Sounds like a buddy of mine. Well, not entirely. He doesn't believe the last part about math being for men. But he wouldn't date someone who studies engineering, since he is also in the field. As an engineer who married another engineer, we can make anything. She got blackout drunk at a party and violently shat her pants. The smell alone completely turned me off of any interest I had. Caitlin Bennett is screaming. Wanted to look through my phone on our first date to make sure I wasn't talking to anyone else. That was our last date. Edit. It kind of surprises me some people think I'm a man and the other party was a woman. It's the other way around. Toxic stuff nonetheless. It worries me how sometimes you only need to scratch a little deeper under the surface of a normal person and you get to stuff like this. At least you didn't invest time or emotions into it. Sometimes people don't reveal the other side of them until you're in that type of situation with them. So yeah, you can have someone perfectly normal, but when it comes to certain stuff they just go haywire. Left skid marks on the bedsheet. Had a crush on this girl back in high school. She seemed like a sweet girl. After she rejected me I let it go, but still was interested in maintaining some sort of friendship. Found out she was actually pretty toxic behind my back. She made fun of me for a lot of things that really didn't matter, like hand motions while talking, and I just lost interest in her entirely, even in a friendship. My 18-year-old self thought it would be cute to invite him to a Christmas parade, but this dude had the audacity to ask me why I thought he would ever be interested in someone like me. Blamed the world for all his problems. Nothing was ever his fault. Chewed with her mouth open on our first date. I never thought something like that could kill my interest so rapidly. Bro, you actually watched the whole video. I'd give you a high five if I was a human. Make sure to click the like button and subscribe for more great content. See you next time.